Welcome back to the Cordell Cordell and Men's Divorce Podcast. I'm Scott Trout, CEO and Managing Partner of Cordell Cordell. We continue to bring you tips, educational tools, information for guys before, during, and after divorce, and all things related to family law, bringing you attorneys from Cordell Cordell around the country and the world, including the UK. You can find us on the web at cordellcordell.com, or you can call us at 866-DADS-LAW. We offer virtual consultations, telephone, via Zoom, something like this, or in person where appropriate, keeping in mind your health and safety. So give us a call at 866-DADS-LAW. Also, as I start out every podcast, keep in mind that this is not an attorney-client relationship and we cannot give you legal advice, and this should not be taken as such. We want you to come in and have a consult. What this is intended to do is to kind of prep you for a consult with us, one of our attorneys, or with your attorney, or an attorney that you're looking for who practices, again, exclusively in family law. So don't take this as advice. Your facts, your circumstances are very unique and peculiar and will likely require us to give you something else in terms of what we're talking about. So let's get started on today's topic, which really is about guys and parenting time, how to maximize it. And so get a pen, get some paper. We're going to give you some stuff, some great ideas on how to really position yourself before final orders and even after on things you should be doing. And I'm joined by Jessica America from our Arizona office. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, I'm glad to have you.
I was really excited to write about this because it's a question that we get a lot from dads who recently divorced or new dads who just haven't had an experience with children on their own without the help of a significant other or wife. And so some of these tips I found have been really helpful, or have at least gotten feedback that they've been easy to implement and have worked out really well. So I'll just get right into it. Something that I always tell clients that is a good option or something to think about is to plan around things that they're already doing. So you're eating dinner with your kids. That's something that you're already going to do on your own with them if you aren't already. And so finding things that will make it fun or ways you can connect with your child during that time. So one example is cooking meals together. Those dads who cook all the time, this will be fairly simple. Those who never cook will equally gain something out of this. There's tons of YouTube opportunities for you to grow your cooking skills. I myself am not a great cook and don't cook very often, but I have found some really good YouTube tutorials that have helped. So that's a good place to start. Cooking with your kids is a way to engage them in something that they also don't get to do very often. And if you can squeeze that time in, there's options for quick meals, easy meals, inexpensive meals. And just having your kid next to you, helping you, whether it's just mixing or even just putting the food on the plate or, getting the thing, whatever you need out of the fridge. Those are all really great opportunities instead of just having them watch TV while you're doing it. And then
I think it's a good point. Real quickly, I want to interject because
Sure.
I think for guys, you're right. I mean, they're already stressed out. They're going through something most of them have never gone through before.
Right.
And they're lost, and now they're thinking, well, things can't be the same because the household's different. Maybe the house is different. And I think as you're suggesting going through, like eating together, cooking together, it's not reinventing the wheel. It's reimagining what you've done before. And so encouraging guys, as you take notes, hey, think about your normal day-to-day activities. We're going to reimagine them. And we're going to kind of reposition you to do something and to recreate and make it a little bit more fun, but not having to think of new things. I think many guys struggle. Now, what do I do? And they forget about what they did. And so you can just take what you've done and really expand it. So that's a really good point about eating together, cooking together, things that they normally may or may not have done. But now we're going to make a focus and a priority, which is great quality time. And it's great evidence before, and during your divorce and really great for you and your kids afterwards. So, that goes with like games and movie nights, right?
Yep, absolutely. So that's another great example is you're already home watching TV together. Make it fun by letting them pick out a movie to watch or telling them that Thursday nights, say you only get Thursday nights and then every other weekend or something limited. Pick that night to be your movie night. And so every Thursday or every other Thursday that you have them, that they know and they can be excited that that's our movie night with dad. Same thing with a game night. So it could be a movie or game night. There's lots of things online as well. So you don't have to necessarily go buy a board game. If you have access to internet, there's online family type games that you can play for all ages. So, and then just doing things like grabbing the blankets and making, the beds and making it real cozy in the living room while you're watching the movie or playing the game, and popping popcorn, maybe going to the dollar store and getting some snacks and letting them pick out their own candy for your movie night. Those are also some ideas, just, stopping by the Circle K on the way home to get it. But that will get them excited about coming to see you.
It takes it all to a whole nother level. I mean, it's
really
like you did it, you watch TV together. I mean, I can imagine, child comes over and you just sit down, you plop down, and it's nothing special. And again, reimagining the normal activities and bringing them to just another level that makes it really unique, where the child's going to remember that. It's a great idea about, just getting dollar store stuff. Really cool.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And then things like crafts. So we don't generally think of doing crafts with maybe the older kids, but if you have young kids, it's super entertaining for them. Pretty inexpensive. Like I said, dollar store. You can go to the dollar store and they have a ton of different craft options. And you can look up on YouTube just to find little crafts for kids depending on the age. It'll keep them busy for a good hour. And so in that time after you're done eating, and maybe want to pick something else other than watching TV, is crafts. And so they know that they're going to come do a craft or an experiment. You can also, if you just Google experiments for kids or cheap or free experiments for kids, they'll show you household items that you can actually use to incorporate into this little craft night or experiment night that kids really, really enjoy. And then, like you said earlier, they remember it. And so if this is before orders have come down and you're already separated, then these are things that you or your attorney can use in court to show how you have spent your time with them. Because a lot of times the argument is, dad just puts them in front of the TV, or dad's on his phone the whole time. Well, you have concrete examples now that will help you in your case for more time, or if you're hoping to seek more time in the future. These are all things that you can keep track of, and I would do that too. Another thing is keep track of these different things that you do with them, because if it's a year later, you're not going to remember a lot of these things, and these things are really important for the court to see and to know that these are concrete examples of how you aren't just on your phone when the kids come over, allowing them to watch TV the entire time.
Yeah, I think that's an important point. You talk about not being on the phone. I think I've told my clients, when you do these things, I said, I want you to go buy a basket, hang it on the wall, and that is where your phone goes. And you want your kids to see when they come over, you drop the phone in the basket. You don't have to say anything, but they're going to see you do it every time they're over, or when you're spending time with them, and then make sure they know visibly that's their time. And you're not going to be on the phone. You're not going to take that call. You're not going to take that email. It's hard to get into that routine, but that's where the phone goes. And I think
it's huge.
It is. And the kids, they get it. And when they see it after 4 or 5 weekends, and you're just, every time they come over, boom, phone goes in that basket, they connect it. It's pretty special.
Exactly. Especially if you have older kids, teens who can't get off of their own phones, and you're constantly telling them, get off the phone, or you need to put your phone away. And yet they never see you put yours down. You lose a lot of credibility. But if they see that this is something that's going to benefit both of you, and that you're following the same rule, that it's family time now, then you're more likely to get them on your page. Some other things that you want to try to avoid, like not using your phone while you're with them, working, like you said, on your emails, on your laptop, doing work that's distracting. There's definitely times where you're not going to be able to devote your entire time because you are working. But in those times that you don't have to do it, don't.
For some dads out there, the coronavirus pandemic has become a pretext to limit access to their children. Other dads have been pushed out of key decisions affecting their children's lives. If you're one of those dads, Cordell Cordell is here for you, as always, but with expanded services. We can meet you in person or by video conference on weekdays, evenings, or weekends. Our goal is to step up our service to meet your needs now.
The other thing is drinking and smoking. If it's something that you do, limit it or don't do it at all while you have them, especially if your time is limited. If you have very little time and they're not spending extended days, multiple days with you, or even full days, it's just a few hours, do your best to avoid those things altogether, because those are things that the kids remember as well, and could come up later in court that just make you look like you aren't taking it as seriously as maybe the court thinks you should. Another thing is making plans with others that don't involve the kids. So if you have, a close friend or relative that you always hang out with, you spend, because they have a pool, so you spend the weekend over there, but your kid doesn't like to swim, then you're really not going over there during your parenting time and exercising it or maximizing the time that you have, because the child isn't enjoying that time. So also be mindful of the things that you plan around your parenting time, and make sure that whatever you're doing is engaging and that the child is also having as much fun as you are.
I have to say, you think about it, as you go through this list, guys are thinking, oh my gosh, this is overwhelming, and they're taking notes. But I think when I counsel guys, and part of it is an organizational change, meaning that, get a planner as they're coming in for the weekend. I know this is just, everything's new. You got to get in a routine. Start thinking about, okay, let's start writing things down. This is what we're going to do this weekend. You don't want to repeat them. You want some, freshness over the weekends, but it's, like you suggest, let's plan crafts. Let's do this.
Yes.
Even exercise, that incorporating them into your exercise routine, getting them to go outside or go to a gym with you and see if they're interested in that. I think that's important. I think.
Just walking to the mail. If you're going to check the mail and you always do it on your way to work or on your way out or on your way in, wait. If you pick them up at the end of the day and they're there for a couple hours, go walk to the mailbox. I don't know why kids do that so much, but they sure do. So that's something to keep in mind, and something that's easy to incorporate. If your children are in school, a big thing is maximizing the time that you that isn't necessarily yours. So if you have Wednesday evenings, mom has them during the week, but the child has a musical or a band concert or a game, if they're in sports, always go to those as much as possible. Take the time, even though it's not your Thursday, it's not your Thursday night, you absolutely, unless there's other restrictions, have a right and a responsibility to spend as much time as you can in those opportunities when it's not when they're not with mom at mom's house.
Yeah.
And then another thing too is just being involved in the school. So know the teachers, know the counselors, know the principal. Make sure that you're on all the lists. A lot of times if mom is the one registering the child, you may not even be on the school's notification list, so you don't get the emails. Don't plan on her sending you everything that you need to know about the child's education. Make sure you're on those lists too, and are in communication with the teacher. Reach out and say, hey, I didn't know the child had a project going on this week. Can you please make sure I'm on those updates so that I make sure it gets done. And then also attending any school functions during the day. So if they have a presentation in the school and you're off and the school allows parents to sit in, that's really, the kids really like that when parents take their time out to go see them during school and when they're allowed. Picking up from school and daycare, even if it's not your day, if you know that the kid always takes the bus home but you got off early that day, ask mom, hey, can I give him a ride to your house today? I'd like to see him just for 5 minutes. Those are examples that when you get back into court and you want more time or to establish time, it's going to really convince the judge that you actually do care and you're spending as much time as you can with them, even if it's just 5 minutes.
Right. And not necessarily the quantity, right? I mean, it's quality. You don't want to, it can be overwhelmed with trying to plan something for 26 weekends a year and making sure that the entire weekend's full. Well, the child or the children are going to get probably overworked in terms of what you've got. And it's just the quality of something, like maybe one thing a weekend and it's really fun and it's unique and it's different. And so it's less overwhelming for both dad and the kids. And,
yes.
They have some downtime, maybe you don't go anywhere. You just stay at home and you help work around the house.
Exactly. That's key. Quality over quantity. So like I said, even if it's just a few minutes, that would also be give them a call. I know that we don't necessarily kids that are able to talk on the phone or have their own phones. text them, give them a call during the day. It's not something that dads do very often, but when they do it, it really means something to the child. And so even if the orders don't say you can have daily contact with the child, it doesn't matter. You can call them anytime you want, and if they're not available, they're not available. But even those little instances and opportunities you have, just take advantage of them as much as possible, and it will make a difference in your case.
Yeah. And, as you talk about, hey, text them, make sure you tell them you love them. Just
That's
a message
right.
here and there, right?
That's
just
right.
just a special message here and there. It does make a huge difference, and just out of nowhere, you can just shoot
Out of nowhere.
nothing else, right?
That's right. Don't be afraid to tell them you love them. And I know that especially if it's not something that you're used to doing or do very often, or only do when you're saying goodnight to them. If they get that in the middle of the day, it's really going to make all the difference.
Absolutely. Well, that's good stuff, Jessica. I mean, really great, concrete. Guys, I know you'll want to rewind and listen to these again and take some notes, but you can be creative. I mean, there is no right way to do it. There's no specific set way to do this. And we just encourage you to be creative, reimagine what the things you've done, and then make it your own special time. So thanks, Jessica, for pointing all this stuff out. Great information. Appreciate it.
No problem. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, well, continue to tune into stuff like this. We're going to continue to bring this to you as we started 27 weeks ago for COVID, but we're going to continue bringing this information to guys that are affected before, during, and after divorce. So check us out on the web at CordellCordell.com. Again, you can schedule a consultation with us at 866 Dad's Law, and also get more information about your specific attorneys around the country. Again, on the web, CordellCordell.com, social media. You can check us out, as well as our YouTube page containing podcasts like this, as well as our virtual town hall, which we'll be having another one this October. So check out the web for more information and get registered for a virtual town hall. Thanks for joining. Until next time, have a great week.